all the people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist? You're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs? Fuck you. War.
War. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucius Coal, the Sanity Stream, the place where you go to gain a little bit of your sanity back in what has become a banana republic known as the United States of America. If you like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course leave a comment if you think I deserve it. The coal factory and the coal train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong, thanks to people like you watching content like this. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, this election is an absolute joke. You are not able to go on big tech platforms right now and actually point out instances of fraud in the election of the United States. Over 300,000 members banned on a Facebook group for stopping the steal. We have major people like Steve Bannon who put out the hard drives for Hunter Biden being banned outright, as well as his stream on YouTube being removed. It is absolute insanity to me, the amount of censorship that is coming from these big tech platforms in one of the most crucial elections in not only America, but possibly in the history of the United States. Our Second Amendment truly under attack if Joe Biden somehow is able to gain the reins of power here in the U.S., as well as the right to assembly. These massive media conglomerates going out there to Trump supporters who simply want a fair election. It's not even about if Trump is elected. Of course, we would like that. But at the end of the day, we want to know that the process is fair, that what's actually happening is truth. And yet the left is pointing this out and calling us like we're rioters, we're violent, we're evil, we're extremists. And by the way, guys, I have to say right here, because there's just so much censorship right on, I'm not saying a call to action for war. Not right now. But keep your fishing poles ready, guys. With that said, you have these massive media people going out there and stating that Trump supporters are being violent. Literally out there praying. Oh my God, the terror of these Trump supporters, they're just so, oh my God. Did you see what he did to me? He went up to me and he said, God bless you. Oh my God, what a Nazi. These people are truly insane. So for this particular episode, guys, with everything that I've said so far, we're going to be going into the latest breaking news currently right now. Today is November 6th, 2020. With that said, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So, first of all, I want to go into a statement by the campaign. Oh, here we go. By the campaign itself. Here's what is being said right now, ladies and gentlemen. Statement of President Donald J. Trump. We believe the American people deserve to have full transparency into all vote counting and election certification, and that there is no longer about any single election. This is about the integrity of our entire election process. From the beginning, we have said that all legal ballots must be counted and all illegal ballots should not be counted. Yet we have met resistance to this basic principle by Democrats at every turn. We will pursue this process through every aspect of the law to guarantee that the American people have confidence in our government. I will never give up fighting for you and our nation. Presidential, guys. The guy's being a boss, as always. And, of course, the media is always out there demonizing him. Last night, when he actually went out to speak to the American people, major news media like CNN and MSNBC actually pulled away from the feed within 40 seconds of him beginning to speak, and then telling the people that are watching them that they're going to break down the speech of what he's saying and simply give you the facts. Okay, here's the fact. Why don't you just let us listen to the President of the United States? How about that for a fact? It is insane to me how much power the legacy media still holds. And now, working in tandem with big tech, you're not even able to push back. You're not able to push back at all. If you give any credence that this election had possible fraud in it, any form of fraud, the same people who for years said that Trump was illegitimate, that he was out there working with the Russians. How insane is that? First of all, Russia, an equivalent GDP to the Italians. And that's who they think is going to be the one to come in and shake everything up. Of course, they never talk about China because they're making too much money from them. It is nuts. And of course, they don't want to talk about Iran because of the billions of dollars that Obama and Biden sent over to them. And honestly, bit of a caveat, but despite what seems to be fraud on a massive level, I cannot believe the actual true votes that actually went to Joe Biden. This is what I felt in 2016. In my heart of hearts, I knew that Donald Trump was the president, that he would be the best president for America, but I didn't have faith in the American people. I really, truly didn't. I didn't have faith in the American people to be intelligent enough, to be smart enough, to understand that this man is not part of the establishment, that this man was actually willing to push back against the powers that be, the globalists, and the people that would willing to sell out our country, our jobs, our families to make a quick buck. I knew that he was the real deal. And what ended up happening blew my mind. Because I did not believe in my heart of hearts that the American people had the gusto and had the mental strength to understand what was going on culturally. And they have proven me right. This election has proven to me that the American people, and I really do, I hate to do a broad brush here, guys, and I'm not even trying to paint this as right versus left. I'm simply painting this from someone who is clearly compromised by the CCP based on all of the evidence that's being pushed out through G News, GTV, what Rudy Giuliani talked about, what Steve Bannon talks about every single day, what People's Pundit is talking about in terms of voting right now. And yet that many people still drank the mainstream media Kool-Aid and picked Joe Biden. It blows my mind. This dinosaur who has been in government for 47 years is supposed to be the change candidate? Are you joking me right now? This really does boggle the mind. How exactly is this guy going to be the change you wish to see in the world? This man is compromised and he's corrupt. It's one big show, and you're not in it. You call yourself the resistance while you're on the side of the big banks, the massive corporations, the multinational media conglomerates, the free slave labor from China, and you think that those people give a crap about you? Wow. I really got to say, I'm very, very disappointed in the American people. Now, of course, people like you that are probably watching this right now, you have the same sentiments as me, and you understand that this country is worth fighting for. But it boggles my mind that this many people, despite the blatant vote stealing of this election, there were still millions of people who truly believed that Joe Biden was the answer for America. I refuse to believe the rallies, the numbers, the enthusiasm, the support for this president, and yet he loses? Wow. With that said, how are we going to do this, guys? Because at the end of the day, we need actions. We can talk all the rhetoric we want, but at the end of the day, we need to go out there and take action. So these are some of the things that Donald Trump has laid out for us. What is he going to do in order to guarantee that this election is not stolen? For one, this is what we know, and this is from Donald Trump on Twitter. We have to go back to the state level and how this morass came to be in the first instance. The governor, Wolf, and the state Supreme Court flagrantly violated the Constitution of the United States. The power to set these rules and regulations is vested in the legislature. They just ignored that, ignored the Constitution. Now we bring it down to the counting houses, and outrageously observers who are the sentinels of integrity and transparency were excluded. Pennsylvania has conducted itself in a horrible, lawless way, and hopefully This will be corrected at the Supreme Court of the United States. Also, these late ballots past election are illegal. Exactly what the president has been saying. The Supreme Court, in extraordinary circumstances, has been able to render decisions in a matter of days, Ken Starr, former independent counsel, says. So he's actually quoting somebody. And he really should do this. He should continue to quote other people because literally every single one of his posts on Twitter are being censored. Nearly all of them. The most powerful man in the world is being censored from a billionaire Silicon Valley tech giant. Jack Dorsey. Jack terrorist-looking Dorsey. And he's supposed to be the arbiter of truth. This is 1984, guys. This is 1984 in hyperdrive. We are currently living the culture war right now. This is it. And I pray to God that this is just a culture war, guys. Because call me crazy, but I have a feeling that this is going to end in violence. Whether or not Donald Trump gets in or Joe Biden gets in, there is no faith in this election process. None. Zero. Nada. Let's take a look at the current numbers right now, guys. So, right now, just going through some of the states. Arizona, Trump is down about 1.5 points right now with about 10% of the vote to go. North Carolina, Trump is up about 1.5 with 96% in. Apparently, they say that he has lost Wisconsin. Georgia is a tie, currently having... Oh, would you look at that? Oh, Donald Trump is currently losing right now by 2,000 votes. Yeah, right. So he wins Florida by nearly 4. Okay. Pennsylvania, Trump is losing by 0.2 with 5% of the vote still remaining. They've been counting for days, guys. They called the election last cycle in 2016 at 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And yet here we are still counting 3 days later. How is it states like Texas and Florida have their shit together, get the vote in almost immediately, and yet these states can't? I'm confusion. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Nevada, 49.7 for Biden, 48.1 for Trump, with 8% of the vote remaining. One thing I did want to go over, guys, is Fox News calling Arizona so early. Apparently, Trump called Rupert Murdoch on election night to scream about the Arizona call and demand a retraction. Murdoch refused, the magazine said. The New York Times reported that Trump's son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner, was also in touch with Murdoch. The Washington Post reported on Thursday that Trump did not complain to Murdoch. If he had, I would not have interfered or changed our call, Murdoch wrote in an email to the Post. And the reason why I bring this up, guys, is because if any of you are still watching Fox News, stop. You're wasting your time. Go to independent media sources. I mean, you can look at people like Breitbart. You can look at OAN. You can look at, people like Barnes Law or People's Pundit. You can look at Viva Frei. You can look at content creators, Tim Pool, The Quartering, Salty Cracker. I mean, there's a ton. Now, of course, you can go as well and go onto the left, go to the progressive side. So it's not all like skewed, because no matter where you go, guys, it's going to be very, very difficult to get a centrist, unbiased opinion on nearly everything. Now, of course, I would hope that the people on the right have a more cornerstone to truth when people on the left are currently pushing Marxist propaganda like, segregation in Seattle right now. It's insane to me. And saying that logic and reason is somehow racist, which basically allows them to lie outright because it is part of what it is that they actually believe. They don't actually believe in an empirical truth. They only believe that everything is simply a narrative. It's only a vision of a person's life experience, which is another thing they seem to say quite a lot now, instead of just saying in my opinion. It's as if it gives it more gravitas when you say in my life experience instead of saying in my opinion. Unbelievable. With that said, guy, again, just stop watching Fox. Stop giving them your dollars. They're just trying to sell you pills. They're just trying to sell you lies. They are not part of the Republican. The only part of the Republican Party that they're part of is the neocon part of the Republican Party. People like Rubio, people like Graham, people like McConnell, people like Jim Jordan. These people don't give a crap about Trump. They don't. They don't care at all. They don't care about the American people. They only care about lining their own pockets. So stop going to places like Fox News to find your news. It blows my mind that they called Arizona that early, and yet Florida, which clearly Trump was running away with, won by nearly almost 4 percentage points in the state of Florida, and yet they refused to call it. Anything that was even close to Biden getting a win, instantly called. Anything where Trump looked like he was going to win, they did not call. It really does. It boggles the mind. But with that said, guys, like I said, let's not get complacent. Let's not give up. The war is just starting, guys. The war is not over, guys. The war this is what you need to understand. The war is just starting. Don't let your hopes up. Okay, guys? Don't allow this media machine to brainwash you and propagandize you into thinking this race is over. It's not. It's not even close. And we will continue to fight until we can no longer breathe. This is America that is worth fighting for, and we are not going to allow ourselves to become a banana republic. With that said, guys, we're going to go over a clip here from the Michigan GOP chair, stating that dozens of Michigan's counties are using the same software that caused 6,000 votes in one county to switch from Trump to Biden. So they need to examine whether or not that happened in the exact same way in Michigan. Take a look.
If all this wasn't enough, in Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity. Antrim County had to hand count all of the ballots, and these counties that use this software need to closely examine their results for similar discrepancies. The people of Michigan deserve a transparent and open process.
I mean, how can we possibly have faith in this election process when things like this are happening? And this is why you need to have paper ballots. We need a ballot that is traceable. That it's like this guy, this person is connected to this ballot. Why is it that places like Nevada are able to destroy their ballots upon counting them? Because they don't want to be audited. They don't want to show the discrepancies in which they're actually reporting. And now they're stating places like Georgia, places like Pennsylvania are somehow missing up to 60,000 military votes. Military votes. For that particular state, the military votes are almost exclusively Republican. Usually in the 80 percentile in terms of votes coming from the military, vote Republican. It's really not that shocking, all by the way, especially given the current foreign policy. A lot less of our soldiers are dying, number one. Number two, The military just got a bunch of brand new hardware, brand new equipment, a ton of money being put into the military, as well as, I'm assuming that's helping them as not only in terms of the mission, but as well as their families and their surrounding areas, infrastructure, etc. Additionally, the GOP historically gives military members larger raises. In the military, you get a raise every single year. Every year, your raise is supposed to go up basically in term um, with inflation. It usually doesn't end up being that high. I think inflation is usually between 2.7 and 3.7%. But while I was in under Obama, we would get either a half percentage or a 1% raise. Under Trump, it's been 3% or more. So that goes to show you that, the GOP or Trump in general care way more about our troops than the Democrats ever do, which is obviously a big reason why they tend to vote Republican. As well, of course, they love guns, they love freedom, right? Why would they vote for Democrats? Democrats hate the Constitution. They feel like it's just a piece of paper that's in their way. With that said, I really don't want to say this, guys, and again, I have to say this isn't a call to action, but it should be stated that the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. And that's from Thomas Jefferson. We've become way too soft, and we need to have our politicians fear again. They need to fear the people. I'm not saying go out there and cause random acts of violence. I'm not saying that. But there needs to be consequences for the actions that these people who are supposed to be representing us are doing. They have no repercussions. They line their pockets with these juicy lobbyists' dollars. They get massive amount of money in terms of their PACs. They pocket all of that cash, and they're simply beholden to no one. And enough is enough. If the Republicans have really shown their face here, they don't fight for Donald Trump. It's been 3 days. It took 3 days for Lindsey Graham to say something. It took 3 days for Mitch McConnell to say something. And then they just put out a little half-assed statement. Oh, we must make sure all the legal votes are counted. The same people that say they support Trump behind closed doors despise him. The GOP is our party. Ours, not yours. And if these people continue down the route that they're going, I do, guys. I believe it's time for a third party. The Independence Party, the Lion Party, the Trump Party, I don't care. Enough is enough. We need a workers' party. Because the GOP don't give a fuck about us. And the deep state, big tech, the media, multinational corporations don't give a fuck about us. War.